Hello, everyone. To be honest, super excited to be here at the App Growth Week again, the second year. And thank you so much for everybody who actually took part in this event. Great sessions, great speakers. And my name is Marina. I'm head of sales at SplitMetrics.
And my name is Zhanna. I'm Senior Customer Success Manager at SplitMetrics, and this is my first year at the App Growth Week, so I'm quite nervous and excited as well.
First of many, that's right. Yeah, and today we'll be sharing some lights on the rare A/B testing use cases, some best practices, and why we are advising to use some search and category pages in your A/B testing initiatives. So moving forward, we decided to start this presentation today with refreshing our memory on how the user journey for out-of-the-store A/B testing works. I'm pretty sure that many of you is familiar with this user journey and with out-of-store A/B testing methodology, and I'm more than sure that the majority of you knows how to use PPO and Google Console A/B testing to run your experiments. So the main, one of the main differences actually in between SplitMetrics Optimize product and PPO or Google Console A/B testing is that first of all, we're driving traffic to our experiments from paid acquisition sources. As you can see here on the screen, so basically user journey stands with three main steps. The first one is setting up an paid user acquisition campaign using any paid traffic source, but we are of course recommending social media first of all. And to make sure that we're collecting user behavior insights, we need to drive users somewhere, right? So we are driving them to SplitMetrics Optimize emulated pages. At this point, we collect all kinds of user behavior data on how your users basically engage with the emulated page, with each and every element on the page, how they behave there. And when your users click on Get button on those emulated pages, they are automatically redirected to the real app stores. Of course, it works like that if we are talking about a released app or a live title. Don't forget that there is an option to do a pre-launch testing when we're speaking about out-of-store testing. So before going live, if you have any idea for the app or game, or a need to test game concept, any feature before releasing, that is something that you can leverage as well. Moving on, so apart from doing the product page testing, of course, I'm sure most of us are doing that. And to be honest, people start to get bored with doing A/B test only on the product page. On the right side of the screen, you can see three testing environments that we are emulating here at SplitMetrics Optimize. So apart from the product page, you can leverage testing on search and category pages. In simple words, these pages basically work the same way as the product page testing. We're setting up the ad campaign, we're driving users to the search and the category page, which are preset in advance, taking your app or game and your closest competitors. So after users engage with those pages, we're of course sending them to the real app store. Apart from having three testing methodologies to test, to leverage, which Zhanna would definitely share some use cases on, SplitMetrics Optimize platform allows you to run experiments using three different testing methodologies based on the use case that you have for a specific experiment. Earlier, some speakers today in the sessions also covered some specifics of the Bayesian methodology, of the sequential as well, frequentist. So we won't be stopping that much on the methodologies right now, but I would love to point out that depending on the use case, you can definitely choose in like among those methodologies. And for instance, if we're talking about iterative testing, like constant visual optimization, we are advising you to run those tests with Bayesian methodology. If we are talking about pre-launch experiments, again, features, concepts, testing, pre-launch ideas validation, that is sequential, which is more sensitive towards different changes that you have in your variations. And if we're preparing for some seasonal events, like really, really soon, multi-armed bandit here, I would say would be the best option. And in terms of the benefits, to wrap this part up, we basically provide more than 50 user behavior metrics where you can analyze how your users interact with all of those tested environments that you can see here as well. And of course, compare the performance with the benchmarks that we've been collecting for quite a while already. And of course, use multiple ad sources, even test them and compare the performance of your users coming from different ad sources. So basically, I would say that it's time to jump to some use cases and practical cases on how you can leverage search and category page. And I'm passing the word to Zhanna.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, and hi, everyone. Maria, thank you so much that you mentioned this search page and category testing, because we all know how to test product page, but when, why, and how to use search page and category page, or top charts, as I will call in follow-up speech, I will show you, and I will share with you some use cases. So the first one, so imagine you are a big brand with a well-known application or game, it doesn't matter, and majority of your installations are coming from organic users. Let's say more than 50% of all your installations are from organic users. Additional to that, you know that most of your installations are made after the brand search, right? So having all this in mind, now you're running experiments on native dashboards like Google or Apple. I think it's quite challenging for you to get any significant results or maybe clear winner. And I don't know, are you like ready to rely on the users' decisions that were made because of this brand search? Because the visitors who came on your alternatives after the brand search, they do not actually evaluate your visual, so they actually don't care what you are testing. They just want to click on this get button, but this plus this check goes to this alternative B, and you think that this is the right decision to go with, to roll out on your main product page, and users that will see your new alternatives will eventually like made desired post-install metrics. Okay, questionable, I will also say, but here's a scenario second. So you're running experiments on SplitMetrics Optimize on the product page for quite a long time, for example, and you know now that majority of your installations are made was made by this direct installation. So after viewing the first view of your app, which is like icon and first and a half screenshot is visible. And for example, you have a need to test third screenshot and the rest screenshots in the gallery, or maybe like to test new feature that you're planning to release, or you adjusting somehow this feature and you want to place this feature on third screenshot because not far away from the end of the gallery but closer to the beginning of the gallery. But you can test this feature on the product page because of these direct installations, visitors simply do not scroll your screenshot gallery, and you just don't see a significant improvement of this, whether it's good to have this feature or no. But you know for sure that this third screenshot will be visible from the search page preview, and it will influence on your conversion rate. And the last one scenario, but believe me, there's a few of them more, but I want to stick to this last one scenario. Imagine your boss says you that I only care by how much % you will improve conversion from impressions to install from search as a source. I have quite a few customers who have this need to show to his boss by how much % they will improve this metric. And how to challenge all these scenarios, all these questions, the answer is the search page experiment. So you see like a preview of such an experiment here in the screen. And our we don't have much like behavioral metrics on the search page or top charts environment because we simply don't need them. We only care about whether our visitors will choose us over our competitors. And we divide our conversions into installs and views. You might see this in the graph. So what we call installs, when user click on get button right from the search. So this is the main point. The views is when our visitor click on app area in order to see the product page and examine the rest of the screenshots. So the main goal of this search page experiment is to find the best app preview in order to convince your users to install right away, because we don't want to lose. We're not sure that those visitors who landed on your product page will 100% convert, all of them convert. No, probably not all of them. So we need to, try to do our best in this search preview. So apart that you're testing new visuals, new app preview of your app specifically, you're testing your variation among your competitor. So you're testing in a competitive environment. Believe me, it's quite vital and it's quite important, I guess, for you, especially if we speak about the big brands. I want to mention additional use case of how you can use the search page experiments, and this is for our beloved CPPs, for our custom product pages. So we know for sure that user intention from Facebook or any other UI channels is different from users on Apple Search Ads. We also know that success of CPP on Apple Search Ads depends on this correlation between keywords and visuals. So we know all this. But I sometimes understand how you feel when your design team sent you a couple of sets, screenshot sets for your one particular CPP. And you just staring at these screenshots and see what is the difference between them. The design is absolutely the same. The keywords we are using absolutely the same. The only difference we have is in this messaging. And maybe you are not the core audience of your app that you're working with. So you're not for sure which messaging to choose from these sets. And of course, there is a moment that you can test all these screenshots sets in Apple Search Ads, but I'm pretty sure it's quite time consuming and expensive. But what if I said to you that it only requires you 3 days and maybe 300 website users from Facebook, your core audience as well, because you are setting this targeting refinements, so something like that, to check how this core audience just simply reacts on these alternatives. And maybe it will help you to prioritize the sets in order to push them further in Apple Search Ads. Or maybe you will rely on this a decision of these users and just simply took this variation B, as we see on the screen, and just go with only one this specific alternative screenshot set, maybe better to say, in Apple Search Ads. So here on the screen, you see the real experiment with the real data. And actually, it turns out that the variation B eventually won on Apple Search Ads after this round of experiments of all these 4 variations. So in many of cases, many of situations, such approach might work for you and might simplify this decision-making process. Now I want to say a few more things about top charts. Maybe let's switch our slide. The top charts environment is, is the best environment for your icon experiment, either for live applications or pre-launch applications. So because you're not distracting your visitors from these big elements on the product page, such as screenshot, all focus of your visitors go specifically on icon. So, and they are making decision which icon to choose, A, B, or C, and etc. Plus, you are testing on the competitive environments. We have one specific peculiarity in UA campaign setting for search page and top charts environment is in ad creative. So we recommend using like neutral, generic ad creative, something as you see here in the slide, like 17 best merge games, so like, I don't know, 10 apps for, I don't know, women apps or something like that. So health and fitness apps, so whatever you want, because we have to prepare our visitors in the UA side that when they click on this ad banner, they will see a list of applications. That's the point. And now I guess we're ready, Marie, to move to our next use case, which is audience testing.
Yes, sure. Really nice cases that you covered, Zhanna. Thank you so much. The next one that we prepared for you guys today is audience testing. And why we decided to pick this one for today's session is because during last year, I would say, we keep collecting feedbacks from our customers, I would say, where they challenge on how to grow further their user base. Like at some point, many publishers, especially like big brands, big titles, I would say reach the limit in terms of the current audience or user base, hit the ceiling with it, and we need to understand how we can reach for the new audience, how we can like start growing the user base again. And what we are doing here at SplitMetrics Optimize, we are running audience testing. In simple words, that's basically the use case where we are driving to the experiment different ad groups with different settings. And then after the test is finished, we are comparing the data. We're comparing the user behavior data to understand which specific audience segment converts better, engages with the product page better, and overall has better performance. So if we go like step by step to explore how the audience testing works, the first step would be, of course, setting up the ad campaign, right? We are doing that, for instance, we're taking the Facebook and we're setting up the ad campaign with 2 different ad sets and 2 target audience. As you can see here, in this example, we have like parents and kids. So what we need to do, and getting back to the optimized platform, when you are setting up an experiment, the platform at the end gives you the link for traffic. That is standard process. So you're taking this link for your ad sets, putting there the UTM tags. And for each and every ad set, let's say each and every ad set has its own UTM tag. For us, later on, when we finish the experiment, to be able to filter out the whole experiment. And basically that's it, that fast and that quickly. So we have different targeting. We are driving through this same link, but with different UTM tags. We're driving our audience to the experimental pages. And what we're doing next. So when the test is finished and we either got the winning variation or hit the confidence level with no winning variation, which sometimes also happens, you can see here on the left side of the screen, the drop down, which is actually the list of filters that we have on our dashboard. Basically, when the test is finished, what we can do, and in the blurred options here, you can see like campaign source, medium, and campaign name. Those are the filters for our UTM tags. So we are picking up the filter, and the whole user behavior report with this more than 50 user behavior metrics will be filtered out by a particular ad set or a particular audience segment. And our next task to do is to analyze the data and understand how the performance of different audience segments actually differs. So if we're taking a look on the right side of the screen now, we are seeing our basic overview metrics, and there we are starting to analyze our experiment. Of course, click to install rate, that is the main metric. We all understand that, but as Zhanna mentioned, taught me actually to do, is actually to have a first look at the engagement rate, which is, in our case, engagement rate is how actively users interact with the emulated page. So the higher the engagement rate, the more confidence we have that our different audience segments actually are interested in the in what we're showing them on the App Store product page. And of course, after the engagement rate, we are having a look at the click to install rate and at the time that time to action or a time to click to install. So how much time users spend on the emulated page before clicking on get button, and on average, how much time they spend on the page. With all those metrics, we can understand, as we mentioned, right, how they are engaged, whether they are interested in what they're seeing on the product page, how much time they spend, if they are engaged actively with the gallery, for instance, with your screenshots, and of course, how they're making a decision whether to install the app or not by having a look at the click to install rate. And the next portion of metrics that we are analyzing during the audience test is the behavioral segments. On the left side of the screen, you can see those rounds, which in our case on our dashboard is behavioral segments. What we are analyzing in this case, of course, we need to understand how users are either making a decision whether to install the app or not, or how actively they are actually leaving the page. So basically, the first segment there is converted users. And by converted here, we mean all those users who landed on the emulated page and without any interaction clicked on get button. In most cases, we see the higher percentage of the converted visitors, for the big brands or big titles, which users are really familiar with. The next behavioral segment is explored and converted. And as you can tell, those are the users who interacted with the page. I don't know, they scrolled it down, they scrolled the screenshot gallery, or they actually interacted with your screenshots or the app video preview, and after that, clicked on get button. The next segment would be the explored and bounced users who interacted with the page, but for some reason, they left the page. So we need to understand what was interesting for them. We need to understand if this segment of our audience is actually like really well converted, and understand how we can make this segment explored and bounced actually explored and converted at the end. And of course, bounced users, basically the percentage of those who are leaving the page right after the redirection, but with no prior interaction, meaning they landed, no interaction, they bounced. And of course, we're speaking about audience test. That would actually show us that that is not the relevant audience that we are looking for, and we need to understand what would be the better performing segment. And yeah, I think Zhanna will share the case, of course, on this use case as well.
Yeah, you described all these behavioral metrics, right? So you just like quite simplified my further speech, actually, because whether it's an audience testing or a classic A/B test, you should approach as classic A/B test, because eventually we need to compare how our new audience, our new tested audience interact with the page, with how what conversion rate it brings, what engagement rate it brings, and many other like metrics we should also examine. Absolutely right. So I'm telling to all my customers that pay attention to click to install rate, the conversion rate, in other words, on improvement, we need probability, like probability to bit control, which is like confidence. But most of the time, pay a majority of your attention into engagement rate, because when you are testing a screenshot, the main goal of this screenshot is to engage, catch users' attention. Whether it's a classic A/B test or if it's a new audience should be engaged by our application, by our screenshot. That's why in all these types of experiments, the engagement rate is the crucial one. We often see a correlation between higher engagement rate and higher conversion rate. And as you can see here on the screen, engagement rate of control variation for default audience is less than for new audience, hence it led to a lower conversion rate. But not always engagement rate, higher engagement rate leads to a higher conversion rate. So sometimes it might be the cases when the engagement rate is high, the conversion rate is low. It doesn't mean that your hypothesis or maybe your new audience is bad. It means that maybe it's some if, like overall everything is good with you with the audience and with the content, because they decided to stay on your page and they decided to interact with the page. But now we need to find out why they decided to leave the page. And that's why we need to understand the ratio between this explore to convert and explore and bounced. That's why we need to switch our slide and to see what we have here. So in more detailed behavioral metrics, we see that default audience or new audience behave in the page quite similar. So the allocation between metrics to convert, export, convert, bounced, export, and bounced, quite the same. The numbers just maybe higher for the new audience. But we have one similar problem for default audience and new audience. Is explore to bounced. It's pretty high than explore to convert, which again means that the new audience is right. So we might target this new audience as well as continue targeting default audience. But now we need to work on our creatives. This is when the design team and ASO team should collaborate very closely together, and constantly running A/B tests will help you to solve this issue and convert this explore bounce to explore to convert. Let's switch to our next slide. The next slide is the screenshot tab, and which one of our favorite of our customers. Being on the screenshot tab, you should pay attention on many of these metrics you see here, but here are some main metrics you should firstly pay attention to. Is the first one, the screenshot view rate. So whether your visitors interact with the gallery or not. The second, screenshot views in full screen. How many of those users open your screenshot in full mode? And believe me, according to our benchmark, if your screenshot views in full screen more than 5%, your conversion rate will be harmed, because it means that people that visitors do not actually see what is depicted on the screenshot. These all elements quite small, and not 100% of all your visitors who saw the screenshot will open this a screenshot in full screen and waste their precious time to see what is depicted on it. That's why if you see the full screen metric is more than 5%, or you were starting from 4%, just go and adjust your size of elements on your screenshots. And the other metric, which is installs after viewing the screenshot, which is actually the main metric, and especially installs after each of the screenshots, breaking down by screenshot. This is the valuable information you can get from here. So for example, see the new audience here and the fourth screenshot. And the fourth screenshot for new audience took the most of the installations, 14.3 installations. And here's the first hypothesis that comes to my mind. What if I move this fourth screenshot to second or third position? Because in this case, more visitors will see my feature, this particular feature, hence I will be able to increase my conversion rate. So you can check this hypothesis by running this experiment on the product page. But remember, you have now search page testing when all these 3 screenshots are visible, and you can compare your current search preview with new version of the search preview. Here's them again, search page experiment. Summary, I guess we
I guess we are done on time. Thank you everyone for joining this session.